very first time I used the ball gouge, I thought my heart was going to explode into happiness. If you've ever had a moment when you've got this thing in my head and I know what I want, you're looking around and you're trying to find the right thing for that job but what is it? I don't know what it is. That was what the ball gouge was for me. It was a marrying up of something that I had in my imagination and finally the tool that would do what I needed it to do. Oh my gosh, happiness 101 when the ball gouge came into my life. What I'm doing is the depth, and that if I do that I can feel straight away that I need to come bring a bit more out of here. You can really see that once I've got through that clunkiness of debulking the timber, all the fun really begins because you've got rid of that bulk and you can start to see the shape coming towards you. This is when you start to change the way you are using the tool, the pressure that you use, and then for me, it's about my hands really coming in to help me find those high spots, help me feel the shape. It's all about feel. It's completely about feel at this point. Now the turbo scraper did give me a couple of little burn marks. So what I did to remedy that was instead of coming from top to bottom, I went from bottom to top. I flicked up. I probably was using a lot less pressure because I'm coming up, and that eliminated those burn marks straight away. So just play around with the angles, play around with the pressure and see what works. I think you'll find that every single time you'll find a way to eliminate any burn marks. Every single time I use the turbo scraper, I am learning what it is capable of and therefore what I can do with it. And this was the first time that I used the turbo scraper to debulk the back side of one of my bowls. And I was really pleasantly surprised. I'm learning every single next time I use that tool, and this was a perfect example of what it was capable of. Did I make mistakes when I first started? Oh my gosh, did I make some mistakes. You've never heard a pirate swear like I do after some of the mistakes that I made, but do you know what it was? It wasn't the tool that was making the mistakes, it was me. I wasn't listening to the timber, I wasn't reading the timber right. So every single mistake that I ever made was a beautiful learning experience. It taught me far more about the timber, it taught me far more about the capabilities of the tools, and I have then become so accustomed to those little intricacies now that I know so much more. Do I make mistakes still? Of course I do. Because every single next piece of timber responds a little bit differently as well. Or I've forgotten to turn the blade around and I'm a bit blunt and I've got a whopping great big tear out because I've forgotten to put a new blade on, or I've forgotten to spin it around, or whatever that is. So yeah, still make mistakes, but they're a lot less these days and they're a lot less dramatic. Western Australia has some of the most stunning timbers, so I'm really spoilt for choice with what I use. In this particular case, I have a beautiful piece of bird's eye Sheoak from down south in WA, and it's just got some beautiful, beautiful patterning, rich tones, and you just can't go wrong. When my bowl style is as simple as it is in the very organic shapes that I choose, it's really quite delicious when you can have that extra timber.